This episode is brought to you by My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is to stock up on your food items and to make sure that you're prepared if you have any emergency preparedness needed. In fact, they have a 4-week emergency supply, and which averages 2,000 calories a day, and you can read on the website of how to go. Survival supplies and emergency preparedness gear. They also have several items: water filtration, air purification, survival coffee, and they have the option to buy now and pay later. So, My Patriot Supply. Go to jjmediaonline.net/MyPatriotSupply for your products. Okay, let's get on to the video. I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I am James Powell, and I am bringing you news and info from different sites that just trying to highlight. You can go to it, the links will be in the description, but I'm trying to highlight different issues that are approaching us. Normally, I bring tech and I do websites, I do online marketing, SEO, but during this COVID situation, I am focusing on bringing news about what really is happening. So I ask you to subscribe, I ask you to share, and I ask you to connect with us on our social media channels. I will try to do better at sharing these also on my social media channels too. I get focused on sharing them on YouTube and then forget to share them on the social media channels. So that said, I'm going to go to these articles and I want to share with you some things about different. It's been in the last week. A few things have come to a head. There's some things about the Surgeon General. It's one thing is I really like what he did, and he must be doing something positive because there are some groups that are now targeting him now. So let's go to the news, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you for watching. All right, we are at the Rutherford Institute website, and before I get into the Surgeon General, this article is actually talking about the U.S. Supreme Court upholds blank check policing, allows cops to stop cars registered to unlicensed owners whether or not owners are driving. Of course, this is April 7th. This is a few days ago. In an 8-1 ruling that empowers police to carry out dubious traffic stops paves the way for further abuses of law enforcement's blank check policing privileges. The U.S. Supreme Court has upheld the police practice of stopping and questioning drivers if their cars are registered to unlicensed owners in an absence of specific wrongdoing by the driver and whether or not the owners are behind the wheel. Such vehicles are often driven by licensed family members and friends. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, as a lone dissenter, the court justifies this decision in Kansas versus Glover on the basis that police can assume the persons whose licenses have been revoked are criminals who will continue to violate the law. That is a basic, criminals don't care about laws. And it doesn't matter what you do. You can make all kinds of laws. Criminals go ahead and do it. So to me, it makes sense that allow the police to actually do their job and uphold the laws. And that being said, we're in the time period of this COVID virus, and there are governors and there are mayors trying to tell their law enforcement to overstep their bounds, like shutting down church services and I haven't pulled up the news article, but they're talking about the thing of arresting people if they're not wearing a mask, and it's crazy, very crazy. But let's go on from there. I will say again, the links to these articles will be in the description, and the link is in the description if you would like to support this channel. It is there. We appreciate the support, any support given, and or our sponsors that we refer to. Reporter complains that U.S. Surgeon General Adams made racially offensive remarks. He isn't having it at all. This is kind of funny. Here he is. He's obviously, he looks like African American, but who cares? We're all American. Who really cares? But U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams shut down a reporter after she suggested that he made racially offensive remarks during a Friday press briefing. Adams calmly answered the reporter during Friday's White House coronavirus task force briefing after she suggested that he made a racially offensive remark about Latinos in the black community. Get this, the media is out. Anyone that supports Trump, anyone that is pro-American is trying to stir up. The media tries to say they're trying to stir up stuff. And the reporter, no wonder, PBS, deep state media. I have a quick question for you, the reporter asked. You said the African Americans and Latinos should avoid alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. You also said do it for your Beulah. Do it for your big mama and papa. There are some people online that are already offended by that language and the idea that you're saying behaviors might be leading to these high death rates. She continued, could you talk about whether or not people could you, I guess, have a response for people who might be offended by that language? Might be offended. Oh, I'm offended. You. Oh my goodness. Adams responded by insisting that this is what's so funny. He, an African American man, uses the very same language that he would use if he were speaking to his own family. I have a Puerto Rican brother-in-law, he said. I call my granddaddy, granddaddy. I have relatives who call their grandparents Big Mama. I use the language that is used in my family, Adams said, insisting that his remarks were taken out of context and were not meant to be offensive. Media, report real news. Come on. It's so insane. Very insane. And the next article, I go from the negative, and I love how he just stands up and almost kind of rebukes the reporter. But then, this is Easter weekend. Sunday is coming, U.S. Surgeon General says. It's not a coincidence. Deadliest COVID-19 week yet is taking place during Holy Week. The Surgeon General says he doesn't think it's a coincidence that the deadliest week of COVID-19 is taking place during Holy Week. At this time of the writing, 486,000 and some cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in the U.S. In an interview with CBN News, Adams said that it is important to rely on your faith. That's important, and that's very important to me. Rely on your faith during these times of trials. I don't think it's a coincidence that it's happening at this time. Adams pointed out that there are many ways to continue staying connected with family, friends, and other Christians while under this lockdown, and suggested, this is key, that people pray for one another, especially now. So I adhere to that. Let's pray for each other. Let's lift each other up. I would tell them to pray for each other, Adams said during the exclusive interview. I would tell them to look for their neighbors. Social distancing doesn't have to mean social disengagement. So, I say all that to say, stay encouraged. We're going to make it through. So, I want to encourage you this Easter weekend. Find a church online that you can worship with. Remember the reason for this. It was Good Friday, then into the resurrection. I trust that you have a great Easter weekend. Thank you for watching. We ask you to subscribe, share. If you'd like to donate to the channel, the link is below. PayPal.com or .me/JJ Media LLC. The link is in the description. The link to will be in the description to these articles. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you on our next video. Thanks again.